Is Spectrum faster than FrSky? Well, stay tuned and let's check it out. Alright guys, so it's going to be kind of difficult to get everything next to each other, but the switch is right here. As you can see, it's behind there. That's the switch right here that I'm going to be flipping. And if you take a look here, it's going to be right there. So right now this is what? Full throttle? Wait, let me figure this out. Okay, this is 0 throttle, okay? And this is full throttle. 0, full. 0, full. So we're going to have it on 0 throttle, and then once we switch to full throttle, we're going to capture and see how long the latency is. So alright, so everything's working good so far. So now we need to enable our second channel here. So let's go ahead and take our first sample. So we're going to hit it on single, and let's take our first sample here. Alright, so this is the point where we put full throttle or 0 throttle or whatever it came up to be. So let's go ahead and zoom in now. So let's just take a look at the packet before this. So we're going to go back here. We're going to check this one right there. Okay. Alright, so as you can see here, we have 1 and then 3. Okay, 1 small, 2 small, 3 small, or just say 1 small and then 2 small and 1 big. Let's just leave it at that, just to make it a little bit easier to understand. So 3 small, 1 large. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out here. So now we know what we're looking for. So let's just see, here's full throttle. Let's see if this packet changed. And obviously it did not. As you can see, we still have 1 small, 2 small, 1 kind of large. So that didn't change. Okay, so let's go to the next packet. This one did not change also. Alright, let's go to this packet. And this one, obviously, as you can see, it changed because now it's 2 and then 3 small. So this is the point where it changed, and I like to go at the beginning of this frame to measure latency, but you could add that extra right there. So this is our, it was on the 3rd packet here. So let's go ahead and get our cursors ready. So on the 3rd packet we said, yeah. So this is the point of full throttle now, and then we'll just go up to here. That is roughly, what is that? 50 milliseconds. That's actually a long time. That is more than the Tyrannus actually. So that's 50 milliseconds right there. Just double check it. Yeah, it's 50 milliseconds. It's roughly exactly 50 milliseconds actually. So our first sample doesn't seem so promising. It's 50 milliseconds. As you can see, it says it right there, 50 milliseconds right here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue on with this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and capture every single one of those frames, and it'll be in the Excel sheet. So just give me a moment guys, I'll finish up and then I'll be back, and then we can see what we found here. Alright guys, the results are in, and before I go ahead and show you the chart here, if you believe I've done anything wrong, please let me know down in the comment section, and we can talk about this very intelligently. You don't have to be like, oh no, you're stupid, oh no, blah blah blah. No, you can just write me what you think. I'll redo the test. I have no issues in redoing it, and I want to do this for all of us, and it's not just you know, I'm just working out of my head. I'm doing this for us because I'm able to test this stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin. Now, before we begin, I do apologize. FrSky released a video on their Horus saying that its latency is 20 milliseconds, and I still find it no way in hell it's 20 milliseconds. You know, even the best results wasn't even 20 milliseconds on it, and I've done more testing lately. Still, no, I have not gotten that at all. I've gotten possibly 26, 24 milliseconds as the best, but it's not what they're doing. Plus, I'm gonna leave a link to the description down below of their video of them testing it, and they're even using the gimbals with their own hand, which is very inconsistent, and which is why I'm using a switch to bypass any human inconsistency, and why I hijack it with a switch. So most of us are using that system, and we all want a good working system, and it is by far my favorite. I still love the FrSky Q X7, and I still prefer it over anything. Yeah, I really hope they do figure out a way to solve those issues. Alright, so enough blabbering, and let's get started. So the Raceflight guys recently mentioned that Spectrum is faster. However, here I see completely opposite. I don't see that Spectrum is faster by any means, at least from my samples. So let's go ahead and bring up the chart here. So here's the chart with all of my testing so far, and the lower the bar, the better. So the first group on the left is the worst sample, the middle is the best sample, and the one on the far right is the average of all the samples I have taken. And this Excel sheet will be completely available in the link down below, completely updated with all of my screenshots of the oscilloscope capturing the tests, as well as just everything averaged out and all this kind of crazy stuff, even this charts inside. So let's go ahead and begin by Spectrum. So Spectrum was said to be faster, and on the first sample I had the worst result, which was 50 milliseconds. That was the worst sample I've gotten. And now if we see the FrSky, the Horus, the worst was 48.2, which is the one in yellow. So it is 2 milliseconds still faster than the Spectrum in the worst sample we're speaking about. And as you can see, Flysky and the Turnigy just absolutely annihilate both FrSky and Spectrum in latency, more than double, almost triple in some cases. And as you can see, we have the Q X7, which is slightly a bit faster than the Horus, which is pretty crazy by it's 4.12 milliseconds, which is around 7 milliseconds faster than the Horus, and it's about let's just say 9 milliseconds faster than the Spectrum in the worst sample we're speaking about here. Now let's move to the second group, which is the best sample. Now the best sample for the Spectrum was 32.7 milliseconds, and it's still slower than the FrSky and Flysky. Flysky and the Turnigy just are annihilating it on every single test here. So we have the Horus did slightly better, almost 10 milliseconds faster than the Spectrum, but not really. It's around let's just say, what is that, around 6 milliseconds faster on the best sample. So the Horus was 6 milliseconds faster than the Spectrum on best sample, and the Q X7 was only 2 milliseconds faster on the best sample. And I don't need to speak for FrSky and Flysky and Flysky and Turnigy. They're just down there, very good. So like I mentioned, the lower the bar, the better here. And alright, let's go to the average, because this is where everything really comes down and counts. So let's go ahead and start with the light blue, which is the Spectrum DX6i. The average I've gotten was 41.48, and for the Horus I got 31.53, which is the average, which is 10 milliseconds faster. So the Horus outdid the Spectrum by 10 milliseconds. The Q X7's average was 36.25, which is around 5 milliseconds faster than the Spectrum. And obviously the Turnigy and the Flysky are just destroying them. But yeah, more than double, or just about double in their average. However, there's something different about the Spectrum, which is it's more consistent. If it's like between the 32s and the 48s, 38s, I would say. Well, it's not really that consistent now that I'm looking at it. It felt like it was consistent because I got a couple readings, 38s. But it's usually by the third frame, rarely by the second frame. There was a couple of them by the second frame where it actually picked up the new input. And you also need to take something into consideration. The way I'm actually calculating, actually this should be more than what I'm calculating here, because I calculate right at the beginning of the frame that's coming with the correct data. However, some people might want to actually calculate that after the data has been gone through to the flight controller, and which is why I also provide the oscilloscope samples so you can actually count those in. And it should be pretty straightforward if you know how to do that. So actually, you know, I'm going by best case scenario for all of them. And this is my findings, and you can go ahead and add, if you know your time frames, you can go ahead and add those extra latencies, say like 5 milliseconds to each or something like that. But overall, the myth that Spectrum is faster is not true. And also, FrSky, if you're watching this, please contact me. And I could not understand your methodology in your video when you were testing the Horus. It just doesn't make any sense. It looked like you're just picking random points from where to calculate. And if you have any ideas for me, I'll be more than happy to test also from my end. But overall, Spectrum is not faster. Spectrum so far is the slowest actually of them all. And yeah, well, that's really it, guys. So that's all I got to say. So here's the test results. The Crossfire will be next, and then we'll do the Jumper. And I also have that new transmitter, the Range RX, which kind of looks like the TBS one, but it's not. But it's like it's in the same form factor in a way. But I have that also coming in very soon, and we'll be testing that as well. And well, that's it, guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if it helped someone out there, that's super awesome. And you guys, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, helping me out, that'd be super awesome. I do have a Patreon, and I do have affiliates links down there. It really goes a long way, and it enables me to do more of this stuff more often. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.